like so many things, I'm framing this as elections have consequences, and by having shitty elected officials who care only about their grift or about culture wars or about all this dumb stuff, we can't even do the basic things correctly. Many seeking rental assistance left waiting. So this is just another story kind of playing off the national story about the fact that only 17% of all of our eviction and utility rental assistance and utility assistance money has been spent. So that means obviously that there's 83% still sitting out there that could be spent, and an estimated 95,000 Oklahoman households are behind on rent, racking up debt of $187 million according to data from the National Equity Atlas. So this is a situation where we could be doing a lot better and we're just not. And a lot of it just is purely the fault of our elected officials not prioritizing it. And what's so insane about this is this rental assistance and utility assistance, it's free money from the federal government. Like at some point you're just going to give it back. Like you're just screwing landlords, you're screwing renters, you're screwing utility companies. I mean, it's just cutting off your nose to spite your face. And it's like we're going to be fighting over money to do, like the jail thing or fighting over money to do all sorts of stuff in our community. And you're letting 187 million just sit out there, or 300 million just sit out there.
It's intriguing you say that, because what's a huge problem, according to them, with the jail thing? Homelessness. Yeah. Right? And so this is literal rental assistance to combat homelessness. This is complex fucking math here. But again, it's one thing to not have the resources, and people, and let's be honest, right? People are freezing, being homeless and starving because of this money that's just sitting over there that's meant for them, right? It's one thing to not have that money, but to have that money and just not have the fucking know-how. I don't know if it's a lack of competence. I don't know if it's a lack of fucking desire. I don't know if it's just cruelty. Whatever it is, people are freezing. Will be freezing to death. People are going unhoused. People are fucking not having lights and gas and electricity and these essential things they need because we're either incompetent, we're cruel. But what's worse about all that is, like, we have the resources to do it, right? So I can't get past that. It's one thing to starve if you broke. There's nothing to starve with a pocket full of money. Now you're just lazy, right? And this laziness kills and harms people and families.
Yeah,
there's no excuse for that.
Supposedly, I was at a deal the other night that they were saying that they're not rejecting many applicants, so it's just a backlog. Like they can't process enough fast enough. And I'm just sort of like, where's the National Guard? What are they doing these days? There's so many ways you can just shift resources, clear your backlog, and move on.
Listen, Carly can stop fucking rage tweeting for
exactly
sit and go fucking complete some applications. You can go file some applications and get people some electricity. Again, bro, you want some easy political points?
Keep people in their homes. Yeah.
I was gonna say, go down there. Say, me and my staff took a day off this Friday. Usually, we be eating raw steak for meat week. But today we decided to fucking go down to this department and help process applications to get Oklahomans in their homes with the cooling they need, the lights they need, the air they need, whatever they need. That's what we did today. You want some political points, fam? Just go do that. But I guess, and then that would be like government working, which is like completely antithetical to who they are, which is kind of why we're here. Right, it's like we're here because if there was an emphasis on government working, we wouldn't have these problems. This 187 million would about to go when we got it.
Yeah, Yeah, no, and it is an argument I make frequently. And the last thing I want to touch on is Oklahoma City has produced this fantastic housing report. And what's funny about it is I want to see if I can find the page that has like the graph that I really like. 36, right? Is that where it is? So they really do a good job of like giving a scope of the problem. And so what I've got up on the screen for people that maybe be just listening is I've got a map of Oklahoma City showing where all the new units have been built. And I think this is important because if you know anything about Oklahoma City over the last 25 years, we have developed tremendously. I mean, we've spent billions with a B between MAPS 1, 3, 4, TIFs, all these tax incentives for developers to build luxury condos, to build the ballpark, to build the Chesapeake Arena, to remodel the Chesapeake Arena, to build the downtown park. We've invested tremendously in the central part of our city. The light yellow area on this map is the box showing the lowest number of new units by tract. So in the area where we have spent billions of dollars with the B, given private developers, hotels, luxury apartments, condos, all this stuff, we have essentially built zero new housing. We've lost housing because it's in 20 years, it becomes either it gets bought by developers to sit on it, or it becomes obsolete and you can't live in it anymore, whatever the case is. The entire central part of the city, we've essentially built no new housing in over the time frame of this study. So that's really bad. I mean, housing. So like to the comment about like the landlords being the problem, like it is to a point, but housing as a market really follows supply and demand, and we've built no new housing in an area where everybody wants to live. That's crazy. I mean, from a development standpoint, that is the perfect opposite of what you want to do. And it's the opposite of what the city's plans want to do. And again, so it goes back to what are our priorities? Is it enriching very wealthy developers? I mean, to give you an example, we gave the Wheeler District to build, I think they've built like maybe 100 homes, over $100 million in tax incentives. Do you know how much affordable housing you could build with $100 million? A lot. And we've built virtually none in the last 10 years. So I just say all that to say that like we need better people in there who will be looking at these projects and saying, no, we don't need to subsidize luxury development when
we
built.
don't need to like redo the fucking club seats at the Paycom Center.
Yeah.
Well,
like we don't need to do any of that stuff,
Nick. And I would like to be comfortable when I watch us get blasted by Luka by 40 fucking points. But like, well, yes, and it goes back to what you were saying about the teachers board and varied perspectives. And that's something we're trying to do, right? Like we talk about the content and we talk about coalitions and we talk about candidates, right? And so you think about like the coalitions and candidates, that's how we address this problem. We build housing coalitions, affordable housing coalitions, says like, this is what we need to do to get affordable housing in this city, in this state. And you elect candidates who will act on that. You get candidates on certain boards, et cetera, who will act on that and say, yeah, like we don't need to make sure Ron can get a hot dog in 77 seconds while he's at the Paycom Center. Like that's not fucking important. Like it's much more important that someone has a fucking home to go to. I disagree. I fucking with y'all, but yeah, yeah, like, and that's the fix there, right? Like building coalition candidates, because what happens is very simply, this is not like a complex problem that like cannot be worked out. There simply is no incentive on the people making decisions to figure it out. The incentive on the people making decisions is just to enrich developers. Right. So how do you change that? You just make sure you take power away from those people and you get it to the affordable housing advocates. Because again, this is not rocket science. Like you have experience with this sort of stuff, but it doesn't take a PhD in urban policy to say, oh shit, we gave this district $1 billion in TIF money and we ain't built no housing. What the fuck was we doing? Like it
We
doesn't-
literally
yeah,
bulldozed housing and built less housing. Like,
Yeah, it's like
replaced it with even less units. Like,
you don't have to be a master urban planner to see that that's problematic for people who need housing, for communities that need housing,
Right.
for skyrocketing housing costs.
thanks for watching our video. Please give it a like and hit that subscribe button for more content. If you want to engage with us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram.